Let love have the last word. 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 That is our book for today. It is a book by Common. Yes, Common the musician, Common the rapper, Common the poet, Common the actor, Common.
This is street radio for unsung hero. Riding in the Rego, trying to stay legal. My daughter found Nemo, I found a new primo.
These guys. So I got this book. I got this book. Wow, let's try that again. I got this book 2 years ago. And what happened? Oh, I got it 2 years ago, but then hubby took it before I could read it. And now that we've moved in together, it has come into my possession. So I just thought, let me read it. I actually audiobooked it. It was about a 4-5 hour listen, if I'm not mistaken. Before I get into it, I am Dombi. For anybody who's new to my channel, hello, please subscribe, like, do the whole thing. And for the regulars, hey guys, good seeing you. So the purpose of my channel is really to help nudge you toward a more wholesome, realistic, and inspired reading experience. So I really do hope that you like it here. Let Love Have the Last Word. It is a memoir by Common, so it really is obviously about his life, his belief in how love is not just a concept, is not just a feeling, but rather a purpose, a way of approaching your daily life, a way of being, a way of connecting with people, a way of connecting with a higher being as well. Common really expresses how love is a guiding force in his life, and something that he's like continuously trying to figure out. So he obviously doesn't have all the answers, but as much as he can, he really just shares how he loves, who he loves, and how that has come across in his life from childhood right up to his adult life. So he expresses his, let me put this pen down, but he expresses his truths and struggles about love, the love that he has received, the love that he gives, and obviously self-love and how that has culminated in his life. Mindfulness and self-awareness are concepts that he also explores in this book. I really don't want to give away too much in case you are interested in this book, but there are tons of stories about how his relationships with his, like I said, his mom and his daughter and his friends, and how his career has come about and how his career has developed. Tons of stories around how that has influenced his concept of love, influenced how he thinks and how he feels and how he expresses himself, and how he shares his love, essentially. I keep mentioning his mother and his daughter because for me, I think those are the two characters that really stood out in how Common expressed his love, or rather the relationships that stood out in his representation of love. But I think also the daughter's relationship with him was quite, like, he expressed that on a very vulnerable level, and I love that he would consider how his daughter feels about his presence in her life, how his daughter would feel if they, for instance, had an argument, or how his daughter feels about the love that he gives her, and how he is a father to her. So I think that ability to put himself in his daughter's shoes was quite special. It's something that really just kind of jumped out for me. So that is like the basic overview of this book. It obviously is about love, and he really draws a lot from the book All About Love by, oh, forgot the author now, but he talks about it quite a bit, that, you know, that book really impacted his life and his concept of love and how he saw love around him and that kind of stuff. So All About Love, I suppose, is another great book to reference after reading this one. If I had to give this book a rating, I'm laughing because I really wanted to give it a higher rating. I'd give it a 2. I know it's common, guys. I think I really wanted to love this book, but I didn't really get to a point where I was like, oh my god, this book is amazing. I didn't have that feeling or moment. I really didn't. It is a great book. I think if you're looking for something, you know, that is, how can I put it? That is deeply compelling, and if you're like a deep literature lover, this is not the book for you. It's not. This book is really much about love. For me, it well, obviously it's about love, but for me it also felt a bit disjointed in how he was unpacking his life story versus that concept of love in those sub-narratives that he would share. I don't know, I feel like there's really only so much you can say about love. Maybe that's just me, but I just felt like it was a bit repetitive in some areas. I felt like some things just did not need to be that deep, you know, like there was, for me, a high priority, well, it seemed like there was a high priority put on making every second sentence or concept or idea, English, making every second concept, idea, whatever, very deep, right? Like it had to hit us in here. I just didn't think that was necessary. I suppose there could be a slight bias because, you know, I kind of grew up listening to Common. I loved his music. I don't know, Common's music now is a bit weird. Well, not weird, but it's just changed for me, or maybe I've changed and just grown out of it. But I mean, grew up listening to Common, loving his music, loving his poetry, and yeah, all of his other artistic things, right? So maybe I went into this book really, like I said, really wanting to enjoy it and love it, and I had high expectations for it, which weren't really met. Maybe you won't have that, maybe you don't know Common, or maybe you just aren't as familiar with his work, music, whatever, before you decide to read this book. I don't know if that makes sense, but I think that familiarity kind of tarnished my reading experience with him. And also I think him narrating the book, because I did listen to the audiobook, him narrating the book was a dampener. It sounded like he was rapping. It sounded like one of his songs, and it sounded like a long song. That right. I really did love the setup of the audiobook though. Like I loved the music in between the chapters. I mean, it is Common, so I wouldn't really expect any less for an audiobook about his life. I would expect some sort of musical things happening there. But I really did enjoy the music in between chapters and just giving us time to kind of let the chapter sink in, think about his last few words and where that chapter ended before you dive into the next one. I enjoyed that. But again, I think him performing, narrating this audiobook didn't work so well for me. I actually should have checked if I could pick another narrator. I didn't check that, but maybe you can, and maybe if you do, there would be a slight difference. I'll actually try it after this. I'll check it after this and see if it makes any difference. Anyways, the book is very poetic, needless to say. It's very poetic, and I think that is probably where it also presented opportunities for the imbalance in good storytelling versus trying to be deep. I think there were pieces about his life that could have been amplified, pieces about his life that maybe we needed to hear more of without them drawing back to the concept of love. I just don't think everything had to draw back to love and what love is and what love should be and what love could be and what love isn't. Yeah, that's just what I thought about it. Quick recommendations. This book is really great for anybody who's just curious about Common's life, Common's thoughts about love. Yeah, I think we get bits and pieces of his expression of love, his expression of hope and whatever in his music, but this book is slightly different. Obviously, it is a more in-depth take on what love is and what love means to him. So if you are curious about that, then it's a go for you. As mentioned earlier on, I wouldn't really recommend this book for somebody who has high appreciation for well-written memoirs and well-written autobios. If you're that person, I think stay away from this book. I don't think you would enjoy it that much. And I mean, if you're a Common fan, go for the audiobook, boo. Like, just listen to the guy, listen to his voice, you know, and kind of sink yourself in his narrative, sink yourself in his book and how he presents his book to you, how he presents his concept of love to you. So if you are like an uber super Common fan, the audiobook I would highly recommend. But if you're not, maybe just pick up the hard copy. You know, I think maybe you could get a very different experience from just reading the book versus listening to it. Just to quickly read the blurb, it's a very short blurb. My English is just running away from me today, but it's a very short blurb. It says, "Let love have the last word" is not just a declaration, it's a statement of purpose. God is love. Forgiveness is love. Self-care is love. Art is love. Compassion is love. Common. I love that. See what I did there? I love it. But if you enjoyed this video and looking for other videos just like this one, definitely check this video out. I will link it in the cards. Click on it and enjoy it. Other than that, thank you for watching and see you in the next video. Cheers.